Dale Carnegie once said, "A person's name is to him or her the sweetest and most important sound in any language." Today, we're going to talk about a great way to learn your students' names. Hey, my name is Eric with a K, and I am the host of the Practical Youth Ministry Tips podcast, and I'm so glad you're here today. I have a couple of different videos I want to do on learning names, but today is about getting back into the school year.
Back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
And starting off the school year right for you and your leaders. And one of the things I do every single year at the beginning of the year, doesn't matter if they've done this every year or not, is I start the first 4 weeks of kind of the new school year. Every week I get a bunch of my leaders out with cameras and I tell them I want you to hold it landscape, not portrait, but landscape. And then I give students a paper to hold that they have filled out that has their name in big block letters, their school, and their grade. Those 3 things, really important. And then I take all of those photos and I try to put them in some sort of an album. Whether I print it out using Word or Pages or use some sort of online thing. I haven't really been able to find a really great thing online to use for this that doesn't cost a bunch of money. But using one of those Word type of documents is really great. Or you can use a Google Doc or even a Google presenter, whatever you call it, Google Slides, right? Now, for my iPhone users out there, you can create a shared folder. You can probably do this on Androids as well. I just don't know that world at all. But you can create a shared folder and invite anybody who's on iPhone to also be able to view or shared album to view that album. That is one way to do it. You can also create a Google Drive folder or whatever, some place to keep all of your photos. Now, what I like about doing it on paper in a document and printing it out is I want to go put all of the 6th graders in one section. I try to do it alphabetical as well. And then all the 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th, 12th, so on and so forth. Try to separate them out so that our leaders can go through, okay, I'm going to learn all the 6th graders this week. This week, I'm going to learn all of the 10th graders, whatever it is. Going through and learning their names and some information, where they go to school and all that. That is a really important thing. Like Dale Carnegie said, that when we hear our name, there's something that sticks out to us that when someone says our name, we feel important, we feel valued, that they would remember our name. One of the things that I do every time I go to a movie theater, I stay after and watch the credits. And part of what I think is like all of those people put the time and effort into creating and making that movie that I just watched and experienced and enjoyed something that I could do. Now, I don't know what most of those roles are that they have. I don't know what a key grip boy is. But I know that all of those pieces are important. So one thing I do in every movie is I try to find someone who has my same name, Eric with a K. And you look through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names going by, you can pick out your name because you've known it your entire life. So you can see my eyes kind of scrolling all over the place trying to find my name. And when I find it, I take a picture of it and I try to find them on LinkedIn or IMDb and I try to reach out to them and just say, hey, I went to go see this movie that you were a part of recently. And I wanted to tell you, thank you for what you do. I'm not really sure what your role is. I don't understand what the title is that you have. If you want to respond and tell me what that is about, I'd love to hear more about it. But ultimately, I just wanted to say thank you. And I've gotten a few responses over the years, some that are like, why are you reaching out to me? Why choose me? And then I've also heard, I was wondering why you would ask me, and then I saw your name. And I realized, oh, and there was a connection there. And so it's really cool to be able to just, a person's name is so important. So putting together these photo directories, I think are really critical. And every year it's kind of fun to watch them grow and get older, right? You see the ages of your students, you see their pictures, and you can see them develop and become more mature, right? Just getting their faces it's just so fun. So that's something, and then I give it to all of my volunteers because we need to learn our students' names, no matter what size ministry you have. Second thing I do is I update all of our information on our students. We use Planning Center. That's what I've been using for my last 3 churches. Planning Center, I go in and make sure that all of the information is updated. How do you do that? Well, right here is this form that I also have the first 4 weeks. I have everybody fill that out. I have them write down. You can see all the information there, their name. I have a little spot for the date there, their birthday, their information, parents' information, their address, their social media stuff. And I put on their favorite candy. You can see a previous episode right there, a link to that episode where I talk about a great, it's something I learned from GaryV, if you know who he is. Don't recommend necessarily watching all of his videos, especially with other people around, because he doesn't have a filter with language or whatever. But man, the guy is smart when it comes to marketing. So I watched reference a video there where he talks about interviewing this guy who's a restaurateur. Anyhow, in there I talk about moments and looking at moments by Chip and Dan Heath, where they talk about how things stand out to us, these moments that stand out to us. And putting down someone's favorite candy bar and then actually getting it to them that day. If you can't get it to them that day, delivering it to them or putting it in the mail, like that's awesome. How do they know my favorite candy? They forget that they wrote that down. But having that in there, just little things like that I think are really important. You put that into your program, your content management system, whatever it is, Planning Center. There's a ton of them out there. That's the one I've been on for the last 10 years, and I love it. But updating that, I think, is critical, making sure you got the right grades and birthdays and all that stuff. Because, again, in the future, we'll talk a little bit more about birthdays and some ideas. Now, next week, I have a great interview with my friend John Batch, who's a youth pastor, been in youth ministry forever as well. And he talks about helping to transition your students from like 5th grade to 6th grade, 8th grade to 12th grade, 12th grade and out, like helping them to transition. So we got a really great interview with him next week. And so I want to talk about that next week, but don't want to steal anything from that. But this helps you in your transition, making sure you know their names, getting their information into your system, and then actually using that. Okay. I want to give you a couple of things today. First of all, I want to give you this free gift, both that PDF with the name and school and grade. I'll give you that, as well as that card. I'm going to give that to you as a Canva file. And in there where you see, put your logo here, all you do is delete those words and delete the little square over it. And then you drop your logo right on top of it and it'll sit right there in that frame. So that Canva file will be available to you, as well as a free ebook on games and a companion audio book so you can listen to it while you're reading it if you want to. All about games, no prep, low prep games, why we do games in ministry, and 15 best practices to make you a game master, help you to crush leading games. Okay, that's all I have for today. I hope this is helpful as you're getting back into the school year. I'm telling you, there's so many things to be thinking about, and we'll continue to talk about new things as we come in the upcoming weeks. If this was helpful to you, would you share it with somebody? I would love it if you just pass it on to somebody else so that they can learn from this as well. Click that like and subscribe button. Love to build that so you don't ever miss an episode. All right, we'll catch you next time. See ya.